Hello everyone, this is Hermione Valino. I'm an author of mystery and fantasy books, and I'm going to be once again doing another very long video that I hope that you guys will get some kernel of wisdom from. So, I did a video about why authors should not put their political opinions on in their, they shouldn't be open about their political opinions because all it does is it angers a certain group of people, and they work their hardest to try to cancel you. And I made a comment that my political opinions are my own and I'm not sharing them with people. In fact, I really make sure that my political opinions are not in my books. So nobody can search through Facebook and go, oh my God, Hermione is a whatever you want to call me. Okay? I can put up with bad writer, sucky writer, horrible writer. I can put up with those. But because that's not a political opinion, that's a personal opinion and all that. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about readers that enter author spaces and bring absolutely nothing to the table. Absolutely nothing to the fucking table. Because as an author and as a reader, I always try to bring something to the table. I try to. I don't all the time succeed, but at least I don't bash authors excessively or unnecessarily. So, one of the things that I cannot stand as a reader and as an author is people that go and they use these different things to attack a male writer, but when the female writer does the same thing, it's perfectly fine. For example, is this one woman was attacking Martin. He did the Game of Thrones series, which is not actually its name, but I'm using that because it's the one that people recognize the most. And she talked about how one of the characters in the book got raped or sexually assaulted, and it turned her into a much stronger person, and how that is not something that we should allow male authors to get away with. And I'm like, what the fuck is your issue with, you want women to be a victim their entire lives? You don't want them to kind of, I don't know, go to counseling and grow and become stronger and use it, sorry. I'm sorry, but that's not how it works in reality. That's not how it works in reality. Women do become stronger because of the experience, and don't downplay that because you cannot stand that a man did it. But a woman doing it is totally fine. This is what I'm talking about, is people, readers, that go into author spaces and attack them for things that women authors do. Like, I can get away with the rape scene in The Dragon Queen, but if I was a dude, no, I couldn't do that. I couldn't write a rape scene. And what ended up happening with the character. Oh, no, I can't do that. That's totally wrong. If I'm a male. But if I'm a woman, it's fine. Go ahead and do it. She brought all these, fridging, which we all know where that comes from. We all know where that comes from. That comes from The Flash. I think it was, no, it wasn't The Flash, it was Green Lantern. I forgot which lantern it was, but his girlfriend was found in a fridge, all folded up and stuff. So that's where the term comes from. Fridging. But of course, it's fine to do with dogs. It's totally fine. if I was a woman, as a woman, if I did that, I'd be totally fine. But if a male does it, no, it's not good. This is the thing. Readers go and they review their books that they read or attempted to read. And that's where it should stay. If you're going to not be a fucking jackass about it. Because literally, you go and you write on Goodreads. And then you do videos that attack the author because the author is not 100% with you or 100% for what you believe or whatever. So that's my problem. That's my problem with reviewers. And I was I was watching this video as a response to another person's video. And this one guy said, can these people just stay out of author spaces? No, they can't. Because they gotta have something to bitch about. You know, when I go and do reviews, I'm going to do this from now on. When I do reviews, my review is my own personal opinion. It is not meant to attack an author. I don't attack an author. I don't spend 28 minutes going and talking about all the stuff I did not like about the book. Because my job is to do a 3 to 4 minute video where I just basically give you the bare bones of what the book is about and tell you what I personally thought about it. I am not a morality officer. If you want morality officers, go to the Middle East. There's everywhere. They're everywhere. If you honestly do not want to read books that offend you, go to the Middle East. They're everywhere. You don't have to ever worry about being offended by anything ever again. Ever again. But people find things to be offended by. Reviewers will actually go and take apart a book and they will write little bitty notes on their little bitty notepad of what they found problematic about the character. So, for example, I have a character in my book, Stolen Souls, who is named Diane Greystone. And so it's Stolen Souls, Book 1 of the Greystone Chronicles. That is the name I came up with. And that is coming out in July. The day after Dragon Queen is coming out. And the reason for that is because Dragon Queen is done. Dragon Queen is on Amazon. So, you have this character she is not attached to anyone, but she is on equal footing with her male partner. She does not believe that she is superior to him because she's got tits. Okay? People are going to find that offensive for some unknown reason. Oh my god. Well, I bet women go, oh my god. But she's not a feminist. So, people are like, oh my god, she's not a feminist. Like, what's her motivation? Doing her fucking job. Like, really? That's her motivation. Her motivation is doing her fucking job and helping people out. That's what she does. And then people are going to have offense that she's a Louisville police officer. But in my book, they're not the same as what's out there that people protest about. Absolutely not the same. And I will be very bluntly clear on this. If you cannot tell the difference between an urban fantasy book that has them in it and reality, you need to see a psychiatrist, because there is fantasy right here, and reality right here. Say it with me, guys. Fantasy is not real. Reality is real. Okay. Hope you got it. And I don't mean to be like this, but I no longer get slack for it. I know that people are going to be like, oh, you support police. Okay, so I shouldn't put police in a city? I shouldn't put police in a city. Okay. So I write small town. I have small town where I have police. Okay. So I should remove them to make you happy? And this is the thing that really fucking pisses me off about it, is people are like, they just want to inject opinions that have nothing to do with the book. And you know, it's one of those really like sad things that you have to put up with as an author, to have your work, which is by nature controversial, jarring, triggering, all this stuff, because it is art. We're creating something out of nothing. Painting is created out of nothing. You know, you go and you're sitting down at your easel that has no canvas on it, and you're imagining what your end result's going to look like. Then you produce the canvas, and then you do the thing, and the thing, and the thing, and the other thing. And you get the result that you're looking for. It is art. Art is subjective. Art changes. And this is a thing that really gets me about people in general, is they believe, and this is not everybody, there are people out there that actually think for themselves. There are people out there that don't have the ability to think for themselves because we have deprived them of those tools to be able to think critically. They don't. It's all based on emotions, all based on whatever. When I go and I sit down and I write whatever chapter I'm on, I don't even think about, well, is my art going to hurt someone's feelings? Is my art going to trigger someone? No, my job as an artist, as a writer, is to write these books, to get them out there in the market where people can read them and decide for themselves if my style of writing is something they like. When you got people that do videos, oh, well, this author is this author is that. If you have enough people that are subscribed to your channel, say 550,000 people or 1.4 million people, they are going to say, oh yeah, okay, I won't pick the book up. Well, hey, it's fine with me. There is how many billions of people on this planet? There's enough people around to read my book. But it also, you know, when I go and I look down at my reviews and be like, oh, it sucks. I'm gonna be like, why? Why did my book suck? And I'm not going to be like, oh, I need to answer every single review. I'm not that kind of person. In fact, I'm not going to answer it. But I'm going to sit there and just be like, okay, what is it about my book you didn't like? Because I know if I go and I try to approach them, they're going to be like, oh, well, you're not allowed to be reproaching us because this is not for you. Well, you're telling me my book sucks, but you won't give a reason why it sucks. Okay. But I won't do that because I want people to be kind of like, well, why did it suck? Or why was this a bad review? Now, if you have a 3-paragraph review, I'm definitely going to sit there and read it. And then just write notes down. Okay, I need to do this different. But if I freaking hear there's not inclusivity in my books, I'm going to be like, fuck you. But, yeah, move on. So, authors that authors that write books that people don't like, they all end up really wishing the person was never born. At least that's my own personal opinion. Oh, why? Because the person's a fucking asshole. But should people spend 25, 30 minutes tearing down another author because of what they have written in their book? Absolutely not. When you go and have someone say, I don't care if the person doing the video is a male or female. If they turn around and are saying, oh, I didn't like this scene of child rape, or I didn't like this scene of bestiality, which, by the way, I'm not putting in my books, okay? Okay, that is your opinion, but it's when it gets into the realm of like, well, this is evidence that this person is a bad person. This is proof that this person is whatever. It really makes me really stop and really think long and hard about this person. And about why they feel the incessant need to go onto YouTube and to do a video where they tear this person down. And here is a prime example of stupidity on YouTube. And yes, I watched the whole video. So, she was talking about Martin, George Martin's, well, I think it's called The Song of Ice and Fire. I think that's what it's called. But it's commonly known as Game of Thrones. And it is a very violent show. It's a very violent show. And you go and you have this one character, I don't even know her name, and she was either, I think, a victim of sexual assault or a victim of rape. And she just could not understand why a man would write this in their books. First of all, bitch, he's an author. You are a nobody on YouTube with a certain amount of followers that half of them don't probably watch content. I mean, I've seen video channels with like 250,000 subscribers, and some of the videos only have 1 or 2 views. You would think with that many people, there'd be a lot more views, but there isn't. But if I did it, so for example, in my book, The Dragon Queen, I write a rape scene. And it's literally is basically Ella does not want to lose her virginity. And so what happens is she just doesn't want to do this. She's forced to marry this guy's son, this king's son, because in that particular period of time, women rulers did not have that kind of power to decide if they were going to be married. So I did put that in there, and I did not put this whole elaborate wedding because it was very quick. It was the church that wanted to cut any kind of power that Ella had as the sovereign. And I don't think I made the rape scene that violent, but I'll leave it up to the reader to decide if the rape scene was ultra violent or mild. I'm not very good at writing rape scenes, but it is a rape scene because she's not willingly taking part in it. So there's going to be people that are going to be upset about that. Oh my God, she wrote a rape scene. But then there'll be other people that are going to say, oh, well, she's a girl, so she can get away with it. But if Martin does it, he's a dirty, filthy old man. I don't understand. I don't understand why I can write it, but he can't. Why is it I'm not going to get slack for it from a vast majority of women, but he's going to get slack for what he did? I don't understand that. I don't. And then talking about killing off gay characters. Now, here's the thing about Hollywood, okay? People don't seem to understand. Actors and actresses, no matter if they're playing gay characters or straight characters, sometimes they get offers from other studios that are much more fruitful. So they go to their employer and say, hey, I just signed this contract with this company, and I would like my character to be killed off. Like, okay, that's how the contract ends. The character gets killed. But people that are in the court of public opinion will say, her character was killed off because she happened to be gay. No, she was killed off because the actress had another damn freaking job offer. That was why. There was no homophobia about it. You know, I really do not like it when that word is used for a actress's own decision to go to another studio. And that happened a couple of years ago. Because people don't think, they don't have those thinking skills, those critical thinking skills that is absolutely necessary in order to survive in the world. I personally, in my book, Final Page and Murder, I do not have token gay characters. I don't. They always serve a purpose in my books because I do not believe in token characters. I don't believe in token representation, and I do not believe in token characters. And I have been actually called a racist for being against token characters and all that. Oh, you're a racist. No, I'm not. I'm a logical, free-thinking adult that tells you that token characters serve no purpose, token representation serves no purpose, and I agree with people of color that will call you out on the carpet for your bullshit. Okay? People of color are calling you out on your bullshit. So, does that make them a racist too? No, it doesn't. It makes them invisible because they're not following how it's supposed to be. So, stop with token characters. If you kill off a gay character because the actor or actress is going to a different job, fine, do it. I don't care. And the actress who plays the character doesn't give two rats' asses about your own personal opinion. Because they're free-thinking adults, and they have the right to make that choice where they want to work at. So, yeah, so you literally have people having really bad opinions. And it isn't just with words in a book, or words in a cartoon, or whatever, or scenes in a cartoon, or whatever. It is always going to be people that feel offended by something that other people do. And that is the stupidity of the world. Author's job is to create art that is controversial. That is their job. When you go and have an author that is so terrified that their character is going to be too controversial, that they make them uncontroversial, that is a form of self-censorship. And that is just as bad as outright censorship by a group of people or by an organization or whatever. So when I went and I wrote the rape scene, I point blank made it very clear that, first of all, she had this kind of weird plan. It's a weird plan. And I may end up rewriting that section because I am going back to the Kindle edition to correct and make sure the chapters start in one page and not the same page as the one that ended. So I will end up rewriting that scene to make it more of like she is definitely 100% not with this. So that's the thing. So, that's one of the great things about being able to rewrite is I can do a little bit better. But that's the thing that really gets me is I do not believe that artists, I don't care if they're heavy metal or they're painters or they're authors or whatever, that they should be worried about if people are going to want to ban them, censor them, cancel them, whatever. I think that people have the right, as artists of any kind of medium, to produce whatever work they want. There are people that produce work that I personally don't jive with, but I do support their right to do it. And yeah, it is entirely their pro quo to do this. But reviewers, unless your videos make some kind of point, if they make some kind of point, and they are not just you running off your fucking mouth because you don't like that a character in a book who is white used the N-word, and you want, oh well, this is proof that the author is racist. No, it is not proof the author is racist. It is proof that you can't think critically. And therefore, you definitely are not going to make it in the world. And it's so weird when you have people that literally will spend 25 to 29 minutes, like I am, going along and saying, well, these are the tropes we don't like, they need to stop using them. No, we do not need to be told how to write. We will write how we fucking want. And that is the bare bones of the whole thing. Stay out of authors' spaces if you have nothing constructive to add to anything. Because the problem that we see today with people that do not believe in constructive criticism is people that think because they've got this many subscribers that they have the ability to alter what a author writes or what somebody paints or what somebody sings. And I hate to burst people's bubbles, but you don't have that power. Sorry, you don't. And we need to tell these people what you're saying brings nothing to the table. And this is the kicker, is when you go and try to tell people that their opinions do not bring anything to the table, they will actually sit there and argue with you about how it does bring something to the table. Okay, where is it? Where? I don't seem to understand where in some kind of reality do you live in that it brings anything constructive to the table. And then you also have people that look back at like old productions of books, shows, so on, and go, oh, well, they didn't handle that correctly. Oh, that's not how it is. You are imposing your views on a race of people in a show that does not exist. They're fake. It doesn't exist at all. So there's two episodes. Now, if people don't know this about me, I am a big Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek: The Next Generation. I really do. And there's two episodes that really, really get me. And this is my own personal opinion. So there is a society in one of the episodes. I don't remember the name of it. But Commander Riker gets romantically involved with this person. And in the society, there's no such thing as gender or sex. They're just people. Even though they give birth to other people, they're a genderless race. I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about socially. And apparently what happens is Commander Riker his presence is so powerful enough that it makes this person question what they believe in. And what ends up happening is the person goes through kind of like this brainwashing kind of thing. And this is forced conformancy more than anything. More than anything. And it is very, very hard to watch if you are a person who is against forced conformancy. The second one was about Dr. Crusher. And Dr. Crusher, we later, of course, find out that she had a child with Picard before all this happened. She was involved with a guy called Owen. I probably butchered the name. Well, he is part of a species known as the Trill. Now, the Trill was introduced in this episode, though when we get to Deep Space Nine, it's a little bit more, the makeup's a little bit more simplistic. And Dr. Crusher does not know that Owen, or how you pronounce it, is a Trill. People got really upset way later on down the road when Gates McFadden was much older, talking about that this episode is transphobic and that the Trill, one guy was like, well, the Trill are actually transgender people. No, they are not. They are a parasite that lives in a pool and they don't ever die unless something happens to them. And they go through all of these different kind of hosts. So it doesn't matter if the host is male or female, and the Trill, the parasite, is male or female. They will share their experiences and all that type of stuff. So it was labeled as being transphobic. And I watched it, and I really felt bad for Dr. Crusher because she was not ready for the idea that the host was going to be a woman. And this is explained in the law that the Trill Society has, that new hosts cannot have any contact with their previous lives because of the confusion that takes place in that society. So there are rules about that. Um, my favorite scene in the whole show episode was when Data walks in. It was funny as fuck. But that's the thing is people at the time most likely just be like, okay, this was a species that we've never been introduced to, and all that type of stuff. Later on down the road, as far as I know of, later on down the road, it was labeled as being transphobic because Owen, or how you pronounce it, was considered to be transgender. Well, if that's the case, then Justia Dax would also be transgender, even though she does not fit the description of gender dysphoria. She knows that she is a woman, and that's what she identifies as, is a woman. It is only she takes the symbiont's last name, Dax. So it's very easy to say, well, this is what it is, when that episode aired maybe 15 or 20 years ago. But the outrage that people had when they got woke is, this is transphobic. Beverly is being transphobic. No, she is not. She is definitely not suited for that kind of jumping around kind of relationship. And then of course she has been a tennis star and all that type of stuff, and she met McCoy and all that jazz. But that's the thing, is we go and we bash episodes, we bash books like Alice in Wonderland or The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, because we don't like how they talked back then. It's just completely stupid when you just are looking at these episodes, especially the two I talked about, and they're like, oh well, that's how they handled LGBT issues back in the 90s, or back in the 90s. Yeah, the 90s. Well, no, the late 80s, early 90s. And I kind of am like, okay, your point is what? It really makes me shake my head, because I don't believe for 1 second that Gates McFadden is transphobic. She has never said anything against the trans community or none of that type of stuff. And I don't believe for 1 second that Beverly Crusher was transphobic. She did not respond well to it because she did not have time to process the whole thing, especially with the Trill. Yeah. And Cisco was like, dang, I gotta get used to this. Because she's hot. Dax is hot. And I really happen to love Cisco in his response to hot Dax instead of old man Dax. But it was hilarious. But that's just absolutely the weird type of thing. Let's stop attacking and demonizing shows and all this stuff because they don't fit what we think certain things are supposed to be. Because I tell you something, we don't have that much time in this world anyways, which is one of the huge reasons I'm not on social media hardly anymore. I haven't been on Facebook in 3 days, and I'm not missing it. But I just really don't understand. I mean, people can have their own opinion about things they've done themselves, but I think that when you have commenters, when you have reviewers that go into these spaces that they don't have privy to. So when I do a review of a book, like say Proven Guilty by Jim Butcher, I respect the space I'm in. I respect that this author, who's a New York Times bestseller, has spent 2, maybe 3 years writing this book, and has spent sleepless nights wondering, can I keep it up? Can I keep it up? Can I keep it up? And when we, as reviewers, go into those spaces, we need to respect the space. We don't need to agree with everything the author has said in that book, but we need to respect the space, and we're not doing that anymore. We are not respecting the space and the opinion of, and not just opinion, but how the person wrote. Because I bet you 9 out of 10, more than half of the people that review books have never decided to sit down and write one themselves. So they do not have any idea of the struggles that authors go through when they're trying to produce a piece of art. They don't. And they don't care, because they can sit behind their little screens and their little O-rings, and they can bash another author's work and say, well, this person didn't do this, this person didn't do that. And they can go home, they can not go home, but they can turn off their camera and feel good about themselves. Oh, I stuck it to the man. You didn't stick nothing to the man. You were showing that you want authors to conform to your vision of how a book is supposed to be written. These people have spent a lot more time and a lot more sleepless nights than you will ever dream of doing. So anyways, reviewers, stay out of author spaces if you're not going to respect. Respect it. My foot itches. If you guys want to know what I'm doing, my foot itches. Stop. Just leave authors and their works alone. Stop trying to make them conform to you. Stop trying to figure out how they lean or how they don't lean, or their viewpoints of certain things that you think are the most important things in the world, and just let them create. Because we cannot live in a censorship-free world if we're constantly judging people's works. No matter if it's books, no matter if it's TV shows, no matter if it's music. Because people did a lot of judging in heavy metal back, I think, in the 80s. And it didn't work out well. Though we did get the rating system, which sucked. Alright, so I will see you guys around.